The Inquirer reported each of the 21 Eagles interviewed for this story believed something larger was behind Jackson's release than it being purely a football decision, as Coach Chip Kelly said in April. Stephen A. Smith, your reaction to this news about DeSean Jackson being released?
Well, it's refreshing because even though I think they're engaging in extreme PC when it comes to them addressing this matter, they're addressing it in question form. They're being relatively vague. They're not being direct with what they're really feeling. And that is that DeSean Jackson got his behind railroaded out of Philadelphia. It's that simple. We heard a lot of stuff. We all know that I sat down one-on-one with him and talked to him. I've known DeSean Jackson for years, all of his years in Philadelphia. I covered him when I was reporting for the Philadelphia Inquirer, a columnist rather. I understand that DeSean Jackson at times could be a headache. I understand there were some questions about the company he kept. I understand there were some questions about the nightlife that he had on occasion and some things like that. But in the end, he showed up on the field. He produced under Chip Kelly. The 1,200-yard-plus receiver. He got the job done last year, and then all of a sudden he's gone. And you heard stuff that it was a football decision. That's utter nonsense. It wasn't a football decision. It was something far more than that, because if anybody could use DeSean Jackson, it's a Chip Kelly-style offense that could use a DeSean Jackson. What it says to me, with the players reacting the way that they reacted, Skip, and asking this question as the Washington Redskins get set to show up at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia this week, it seems to me that what they're saying is that there's no reason for this guy to be gone from this football team. And what that also says to me is that the distraction that they tried to paint DeSean Jackson as being when they were ultimately trying to let him go, it tells me that that wasn't true either. Because if it were true, then the players wouldn't be asking questions. They would know for a fact this is why he's gone, because in the coach's eyes, at the very least, he was considered a distraction. But they're not even willing to admit that. And what that says to me is that DeSean Jackson had a better relationship with his teammates than we were led to believe. It says to me that they wanted him more than we were led to believe. And it says to me that the justification for the Philadelphia Eagles for letting him go wasn't nearly what they tried to paint it as being, which tells me he was railroaded and shipped out of town. And I'm glad he landed in Washington.
Okay, I am too, but I'm not with you on your analysis of this. Help me out here. You said that you thought their comments were incredibly PC. I didn't think they were PC at all. 21 Eagles said,
we don't know why.
We don't know what happened here, and we don't really love it. You know, again, quote after quote I read where this is where I thought Chip Kelly would draw the troops together in the post-game locker room the other night and say, whenever, maybe Monday, and say, hey, guys, DeSean Jackson is gone. We're going to play him, but he is out of here. And I don't want to read any comments this week about DeSean. And clearly that did not, maybe it did happen and they rebelled against that proclamation from the coach. But here's my point, Stephen A. Big picture. Chip Kelly has faced two crises that could have split his team or even wrecked his team. One that we talked for days about was the Riley Cooper N-word controversy. And I'm still not sure how Chip Kelly got away with that one, but he did. And the team stayed together, and it won games together. And now, I'm with you, there's no doubt. He got rid of DeSean Jackson, who was beloved by his teammates and an extremely valuable weapon on that team. Now, he looks like so far he is adequately, if not even better, to replace him with Darren Sproles. But I got to tell you, if 21 players are still upset about it, still not sure about it, that would have potential to wreck this team this year, to tear it apart. And so far, so great, man. Yeah. Again, they had the bad first half against Jacksonville, and they were a little shaky the other night in the first half, but they have won impressively in 2 second halves. So clearly, the team is hitting on all second-half cylinders. So Chip Kelly must be doing something right with his team, even though they're saying to me all the wrong things about DeSean being gone.
Well, a couple of things. Number one, I still considered it PC because they weren't direct. They were just saying that we don't know why he's gone and we wish he was here, as opposed to obviously saying, you know what, the stories about him were not true and it was unfair for him to be gone. That's all I meant by that. It's no big deal. But I did believe they were PC. Point number two, let's not make this out to be more than it is from this perspective. Chip Kelly can coach. It's just that simple. When you talk about guys, I don't know how he made it through this, or whether it's the Riley Cooper fiasco or now with DeSean Jackson. I don't consider that a big deal. Skip, this is the National Football League. If your signing bonus ain't locked in, you're playing with non-guaranteed dollars. Your future is not guaranteed. One play could end your career. The money it can take away from you, et cetera, et cetera. It doesn't take much to incentivize an NFL player to go out there and perform to the best of his ability. Because in this league, the NFL, it is the no-fun league when it comes to dollars and cents, because the money can be taken away from you in a heartbeat. So you don't have to be the ultimate motivator to get guys in line to do their jobs, because they're trying to get paid. And there's no 9-to-5 job out here that's paying them what they're going to get paid for playing a game of football on Sunday afternoons. It's that simple to me. So I don't think Chip Kelly deserves a cookie for that. The fact is he can coach. He knows what he's doing. But in terms of incentivizing players, no matter how they feel, no matter how disgusted they may have been with DeSean Jackson's departure, Riley Cooper's inebriated racial epithets that he was throwing around at a country music concert, or whatever the case may be, in the end, when it's time to go to work, it's time to go to work. Yeah. Because if you're not willing to put in the work, they can replace you in a heartbeat, take your money away from you, and put somebody else out there to do it. Unlike baseball and basketball, where the contracts are obviously guaranteed for years and years to come.